So here we are then for the final round of Formula 2 in 2022. 5 red lights and it's lights out. And away we go as Formula 2 ends today. And Cali Mayer predictably leads from the front ahead of Liam Lawson. Now you might be wondering why this is much shorter than our traditional things. That is a deletion of the wrong video file in the pre-editing process. So we're missing all of that. Doesn't really matter though. Formula 2 is pretty much finished. We're only really doing this for officials classification's sake more than anything else. So let's get this underway then. Cali Mayer and Liam Lawson lead for the front. They were on the front row of the grid. And followed by Vips and Porsche. Felipe Dragovic up to 5th. So he's actually made good on his qualifying position, and his he'll be obviously encouraged by his 3rd place finish yesterday, although Daruvula and Sato are fighting over 6th place. JR Daruvula is going to be quite an interesting feature in this race because of the F2 23 tyre bug is forever present in this race. We don't know if Jehan Daruvula is going to probably enough tyres to finish it, because his soft race tyres that the game kind of reserves for some reason with the F2 tyre bug is now punctured, or has a puncture in one of the tyres. So now he's fallen really on 2 tyres and probably won't be able to finish the race, but I guess we'll see what happens. I really hope this F1 23 tyre bug is not a thing when we get here next year to do the racing for real in the Formula 1 season, as Cali Mayer instantly heads to the pits to change onto a set of soft tyres to go for the most part of this race. She might have to pit again, and this is just what the F2 tyre bug in F1 23 kind of amounts to. We hope it's not a thing when we go into the F1 racing next year. So Cali's in the pits, and we are already at the end of lap 1. So Liam Lawson now assumes the lead. Will Cali actually have an opportunity to get the lead back? Will she have to pit again on the soft tyres as well, which would be an interesting question. Well, I think we're going to get a replay at the start in a moment. We'll get to... and Cali running out of the pit lane there. Will she get looked at for exiting the pits? Now, she didn't exit the pits, technically, so she might not get looked at for that. She already takes to the, pretty much the reaches of the curb just to avoid anyone else possibly outbraking themselves. And pretty much like yesterday, she's just being cautious, just really taking the car to the end. She could really just cruise to the end at her own leisure, because everything is pretty much wrapped up. For Liam Lawson, this is another day where if he can grab this win, like I said, is he in the sprint race, this kid has got to be in the running for the AlphaTauri seat. He's had a great year, to be fair, in Formula 2. Sometimes you don't have to win the title in Formula 2 to be recognised as a very decent F1 talent. We can look at the likes of Alex Albon and Lando Norris, really, because the year George Russell won it, Alex Albon and Lando Norris were rather standouts themselves. And that is the case for Logan Sargent as well. He's not set the world of Formula 2 alight, but he's already being looked at for the confirmed rather for the Williams drive. For Cali Mayer, it's a bit of a different scenario. She's obviously heading towards Formula Academy next season, and will most likely be in an affiliate role with Konnersport on the F1 side. So it is kind of interesting whether we will see her next season for that kind of role. The affiliate roles are rather affiliate driving, really, if that makes sense. It is F1 Academy kind of counterpart, so whether we'll see her is rather dependent on what Konnersport want to do. They are looking at Konnersport. They are actually looking for a couple of other drivers to fill the reserve role. Maybe, they won't be really old enough and have the super license with the reserve role, but 2 drivers they're looking at are rising youngsters Charlie Wurz and Sebastian Montoya, those two surnames you might remember. Of course, the Charlie is the son of former F1 driver Alexander Wurz. Sebastian Montoya, well, his father needs no introduction. Juan Pablo Montoya, of course, as Liam Lawson makes his pit stop on lap 3. So most of the drivers, of course, you don't want to double stack in Formula 2. I was going to say most of the drivers actually missing the second lap. But of course, you don't want to really double stack in this sport because it is much less people working in the pit crews. So the pit stops take longer, naturally, as Liam Lawson exits the pits. And that was a very close shave exit. And there is Iwasa behind him, fellow Red Bull junior. Is he being considered for the AlphaTauri seat? That would certainly be an interesting shout. I think Lawson would probably win out between the two, to be fair, because Lawson has been a championship competitor this season. But this woman's consistency won the title on its own, really. Because in races where Callie didn't look like scoring, she'd score. She only missed the points once, and that was in the Silverstone sprint race, where she failed to score. I think she probably failed to score in Hungary, if I remember rightly as well. But such is her consistency, finishing in the points, and even finishing in the points in races where you wouldn't think she'd finish, like Monaco, for example. She finished in the points in one race and retired from the other. And that was the other race where Callie didn't score. The feature race in Monaco, of course, because she had pretty much dead tyres by the end of the race, which is another kind of example of just how kind of annoying the F2 bug has been, or the tyre bug has been in F2 in F1 23. And like we said, we hope we don't get that for the Formula 1 racing next season. From my understanding of obviously playing the game myself and watching other creators play the game, I don't think it's actually been a factor for the most part, so we should be good. And as we're looking at, I think it's Marino Sato who stopped out on the track here, ran over the curbs, cut the corner, but it sounded like the engine was dead anyway. I think that might be hydraulics for Marino Sato, really. Probably can't change gear by the feel of it. And here's Liam Lawson round the outside of Teo Porcher. Now, that's a pass. That's a pass for position, isn't it? I think that's a pass for like second legit in this race. Because Jehan Deruval is leading, but he is going to have to make a stop. And will it be for the right set of tyres? That would be a question. We'll have to find out. Well, Prema usually are the kings at this series. They won the championship with Mick Schumacher. They won the championship with Nick de Vries the year prior. And they also won the championship with Oscar Piastri in 2023. But this season it's all about Callie Mayer, Dams, and Liam Lawson. Really. And rightly so. As we get a little reverse thing there. That was probably not edited out either. So I might have to do that in the post-editing process. Well, Jehan Deruval, lap 6, 9 to go in this Formula 2022 Formula 2 2022 season. And like I said, not really much on the line, to be honest. It's just really for official sake. Official classification, that is. Just to kind of get this over the line, of course. So having a look further down the field, I think Teo Porcher, who is obviously with the Sauber Academy, that is really kind of probably been put back into the fold now that the technical partnership with between Audi and Konnersport isn't happening. And the roadmap to 2026 for Audi will continue as planned. So Teo Porcher, that gives him an avenue. Of course, next year will be the final year of the brand sponsorship deal between Alfa Romeo and Sauber. And they will be back to Sauber for 2024. And then Audi in 2026. That is when the Audi project will officially begin. Between the two teams in 2024, that is. Before the takeover in 2026. So they get 2 years of planning. Very much like how the prototype Audi was, to be fair. The Audi project prototype was that, so really, they're just getting a dose of what they've already done, so they can bring that forward, that expertise. Of course, in Formula 1, we've got a few goodbyes to say. We'll be definitely saying goodbye to Sebastian Vettel. Rather unfortunate, really, that the man only has 1 point in a car that has masked his talent for the whole season, really. And, of course, to Mick Schumacher as well. Well, on the grid, anyway. Obviously, be with Mercedes next season. Felipe Dragovic. I think there's been some talk that he will join the Aston Martin project. And let's be honest, even though Sebastian Vettel will no longer be part of it, I have to say the signing of Fernando Alonso really was the perfect choice. So, and they are rumoured to have a very good car in 2023. They've really resourced very... because this season has been such a write-off for them, not to the extent that Haas was in 2021, for example, but Aston Martin have been rumoured to have a very good car underneath them ready for 2023. So we could be seeing Stroll and Alonso much more towards the front. So maybe Felipe Dragovic will land a very good role as the reserve driver there. And Jehan Daruvula is coming into the pits, but what for? That's the question. Do they have a set of intermediates, not intermediates, but mediums, after Daruvula had punctured the tyre in the sprint race yesterday? They do put the softs on, so by law of the rule book, Daruvula has to pit before starting lap 17. If he doesn't, he will be disqualified. And that would be a very, very annoying, really. But I really just don't think Prema had the tyres because of the tyre bug. The allocation was all bugged up in the game, especially in F2. We'll have to see. But Calimea is already leading by a postcode with 9 to go. So Dragovic here have a double podium in this one. He's going for third. Now Williams holding on to seventh. That's more points for Trident. A very bit of a breakout year for them, to be honest. Definitely a breakthrough year. That's the word I was looking for. Daruvula has already made his way up to 16th ahead of Logan Sargent. So he's definitely got the tyres, but has he got the right enough of the right compound? I don't think so. I think Daruvula is going to be disqualified. Because I don't think... It is annoying, isn't it? It's very annoying. It's a very annoying bug, and I really hope that next year we will see less of it. If not, we shouldn't see it at all by law of rights, but you never know. Maybe tracks like Bahrain, where tyre wear is heavy. That could be a problem. I mean, I don't think we caught any wind of the tyre bug until, I think it was Monaco, actually, in this mode. So we might be alright for the opening stage of the 2023 F1 season, if it is a present bug. I mean, if it is, that's rather annoying, but I guess we'll wait and see. Anyway, Calimea is leading comfortably and cruising to another win. But Liam Lawson is in rather hard pursuit, to be honest. This is Frederick Vesti on Ollie Caldwell, I think. And that's Jack Doohan going over the curb. Alpine Academy driver Jack Doohan, son of the legendary Mick Doohan, who made his legacy on two wheels. Jack has decided to pick four. Unfortunately, he's not really had the car to really showcase that obvious talent that he has. Antonio Cordon has unfortunately fallen to the back. Oh, and Callie Mayer, look at that slide coming out of the penultimate corner. She's so comfortable, she's drifting. Who can blame her? She really has been incredibly fun to watch, Callie Mayer, this season. I, for one, am probably going to miss her quite, to be honest. I mean, I sincerely hope Callie Mayer makes it one day. She's definitely got the ingredients for F1, I feel. I'm not saying she's F1 quality yet, but win Formula Academy next season, and there might not be any debates anymore. Because that would be 3 different championships on the bounce for Callie Mayer. Formula 3 last season, Formula 2 this season. You can compete in Formula Academy about 2 years, so imagine if in 2023 and 2024 she wins it both times. Konnersport would have to bring her in then, wouldn't they? You'd certainly think so. She's certainly got, like I said, she's certainly got the ingredients. She might not be F1 quality yet, we don't know, but she's certainly got the ingredients for it. Of course, having a very similar driving style and kind of ambition that your older brother possesses in Aiden Jackson, that obviously helps. Will she even race under Jackson for next season? Of course, if she did come into Formula 1, she'd probably pick Mayer just to avoid confusion. Of course. But to be fair, to avoid confusion between the Schumacher brothers, not that it was very much confusing, although they did look very alike, to be fair. What we used to do was we used to put R and M in front of their names. For Mick Schumacher, there's been no such kind of need to do. Even though his cousin David is an F3 winner this season, I believe. I think David is, of course, the son of Ralf Schumacher. And I think he's going down a different path. But he's definitely got a Formula 3 win on his book. That Schumacher family is just oozing with talent. All over it, to be fair. Varying levels, let's be honest. You know, Michael, 7-time world champion, and at the other end, of course, Ralph, a multiple race winner. Let's not forget that. But unfortunately, never reached the heights his older brother Michael did. For Mick, it's even more unfortunate. He had a very much a false start, really, with Haas in 2021. A car that was not really being developed, and in 2022 the car was better, but it wasn't the big jump that many expected, really. Even with the Ferrari C-Suit power unit, it wasn't the. It was certainly better from a car standpoint, like we said earlier in the season. Haas were 4 seconds off the pace in 2021 on an average day, where Aiden Jackson wasn't wringing the neck of it. But they've closed considerably to about a second behind the top runners now. So the improvement is definitely there. But Mick Schumacher has had varying levels of bad luck and a couple of mistakes of his own making. But I really hope Mick Schumacher gets another shot in a midfield team maybe someday. It might have to be a new entry at this point. And unfortunately, Konnersport doesn't seem to be even in the discussion, which is rather unfortunate. But, to be fair, like we said, if Devon Butler is Konnersport bound, as we expect, like I've said many times, it's not a bad shout at all. Indy 500 winner. Well, Jayan Deruval is still going. No sign of a pit stop for him. He's probably going to get DQ'd if he keeps going because he's not switching over to the medium compound that everyone has already run. And Maya did have to make a second stop, so there is second stops on the board for these drivers today. One kind of instance I'm thinking where the F123 tire bug may be a problem in F3 in 2023 the season, maybe in the sprint weekends actually. Because of course it's been the multi-races that have caused this tire dilemma. So maybe in the sprint races, somewhere like Baku for example, I think there's going to be one in Qatar, but I'm not sure. Yeah, maybe some sprint races could be a problem. Of course, there's talk of a new overhauling tyre roll as Deruval is falling like a stone on those tyres. Kali Mayer pretty much predictably taking back the lead. She looks odds on to win now. There is talk of specific compounds of tyres being used in a sprint qualifying. There's talk of that as well. Maybe a sprint qualifying. Especially considering that in Brazil, we had a sprint race which would decide the grid, and then no one in the grid started the actual race in that order because of such a plethora of grid penalties being carried out. So maybe to avoid that, the sprint races won't count towards the grid. They'll actually do a sprint qualifying and then an actual qualifying. I'm not sure if that's going to be in this the kind of schedule for next year or the year after. We'll find out soon enough. In January, the final rules will be locked in, as it were. I don't mean the focus term, obviously. Clement Novolok having a bit of a baptism of fire today. He was winning the sprint race. Now he's only up for P10 at the moment. He's past Jack Doohan, but that is still a very well-earned point for Clement Novolok. Of course, with Tatiana Calderon, she will be racing in Formula Academy next season, so we're expecting the likes of Maya and Maria Garcia to be battling for the title. Maybe Calderon is there as well. And keep an eye on Abby Pulling as well. Well, speaking of Kali Mayer, fastest lap, 1:43. She has been consistently a fastest lap setter this season. I think she might have the most fastest laps for the whole season, I would have thought. Excuse me. Look how comfortable she is. You can tell the pressure's off, and yet she's still leading Deruval by 4 seconds. Though I have a feeling Deruval is not going to last much longer because he probably can't switch to another set of mediums. I don't think Prema have one for him, so he will be DQ'd. It's going to be very harsh on Deruval. He drove a good race, to be fair. So many Red Bull liveried cars this year. I think it's going to be a lot less next year. Also, more than likely off to AlphaTauri, if not for full driver's seat, definitely for reserve driver role. And he'll probably want to focus on his duties there rather than another year in Formula 2. He doesn't need another year in Formula 2. He's pretty ready. Certainly for... he certainly seems ready for Formula 1, I should say. Especially considering his year. Let's see the other ones. Iwasa. Maybe Iwasa will have another year. He's been rather put in the shade by Kali Mayer, but everyone's been put in the shade by Kali Mayer. It's not really just a him issue. It's just how good Kali Mayer has been over this year. So, in all honesty, it's not even Iwasa's fault when you think about it. And who are the other ones? Dennis Hauger. He might have another year. Pedro Govic. He's dropped down to 5th, which is probably going to become 4th sooner rather than later. He might even get 3rd. He was right up with Porsche there. He looked quicker. A real shame for Felipe Drugovich, as we said in the sprint race yesterday. He was one of the real... Oh, we've got a fight here between Daruvula and Lawson. This isn't... They're not teammates. One's for Prema, one's for Carlin. And Lawson makes it look easy. Daruvula has to come in now or the next lap, or he will be disqualified. I don't think he's going to, though, because I don't think Prema have any more tyres for him to use. So Daruvula is going to be really just forced to take this on the chin. It's going to be really unfortunate. Mayo and Lawson have just been in an absolute world of their own anyway, so it's not like he's going to Daruvula was going to win this race. Not if Callie Mayo and Liam Lawson had any say in the matter, because to be honest, they've been the best 2 drivers this season by some distance. To be fair. And I don't think Daruvula is gonna pit, so he is out. So for Felipe Drugovich, he could get 3rd. I really hope this tyre bug is gone for the main show next year, man. It's been rather annoying to witness. I think the lack of players on this mode certainly counted for something. Like I said, probably the only reason I'd see this problem reoccurring in Formula 1 next year is 1 for high tyre wear tracks like Bahrain, or 2 on sprint weekends like Azerbaijan, for example, which I believe is getting one, where we could see a problem. Might have to run some tests on that one, see if that is actually a thing that is an issue. Of course, there could be some rule changes anyway. Having specific tyres or a sprint qualifying, it's certainly going to be interesting to see what the rules draw up. Well, for J.R. Daruvula, it's rather against hope and expectation, I'm afraid. I wonder what the game will do. Will it just pull him to the side for this last lap? Will they even let him complete it? Probably not. No, he's not coming in. So Daruvula is done for the day. This tyre bug is infuriating. I'm not gonna lie. He's gone then. So the game will calculate that he doesn't even get to finish the race because of it. That's really disappointing, to be honest. That's really disappointing and rather annoying, really. But it is what it is. It doesn't matter, because no one was catching Callie Mayer and Liam Lawson today. These two absolutely have been the class of 2022 by a long distance. Callie Mayer has cruised this weekend. Just kept her car in one piece. Pretty lucky to do so in the sprint race after a collision with the wall on the formation lap. Callie certainly has had the strange errors, hasn't she? Speeding in the pit lane rather. And then that, but hey. These drivers are all human at the end of the day, but it doesn't diminish Callie Mayer's achievements, because my goodness, have we seen an absolutely wonderful, consistent season. It hasn't been dominating by any means. It's just been Callie has been tremendous at being there or thereabouts all season long. The penultimate corner, she was drifting out there a few laps ago. Now the final corner, and that is your lot for Formula 2 in 2022, and it ends pretty much as expected with another Callie Mayer, absolutely masterclass performance. Her and Liam Lawson, the class of the field. Sargent gets ahead of Iwasa somehow, not sure how. But Dams absolutely struck gold with Callie Mayer. It may not have even happened, but it did, and they will take it. And now we look forward to seeing the class of 23 to see what they can do. But I don't think anyone will really have quite the impact on Formula 2 that Callie Mayer has had. She has broken new ground for aspiring female racing athletes, and now it pretty much is a trailblazer. She is on to become a 3-time champion in 3 different Formula events. If she pulls that off next season, she may just be F1 bound. Liam Lawson second, followed by Teo Porcher. Unfortunately for Dragovic, he couldn't get Porcher at the end there. Marcus Armstrong, IndyCar bound, goes 5th. And then Callum Williams, Yuri Vips, Dennis Hauger. Clement Overlap gets 2 more points. Jack Doohan actually got into the points in the end. That was because of really Deruga's DQ. We hope for the eradication of that tyre bug when we eventually take to Bahrain in a few months' time for Formula 1. Callie Mayer, champion by a bit of a margin, to be honest. Her and Liam Lawson, like we said, the class of the field. No one was catching them once they hit their stride after Spain. Like we said, Felipe Dragovic, actually a decent effort to get into 4th place, to be honest. And of course, for sure, early championship contender, fell back a bit. Sato, Vips and Derugula are your top 10. Logan Sargent, a very decent 13th to take to him, take to Williams next season rather. Jack Doohan 15th. Daniel Calderon not last, because he had a couple of race wins this year. That goes to Ralph Boschoff, who unfortunately is the only driver not in double figures. Dams win it convincingly because Mayer and Iwasa have been amazingly consistent, and that's your lot for Formula 2 in 2022. It wasn't really the best show in terms of racing, but at the end of the day, Callie Mayer was just too good anyway. It didn't matter. Formula 2 is over for 2022. We'll see you in 2023 when Formula 2 returns.
One day the sun's gonna rise again, so don't pout or